All right, folks, coming up, you're about to listen to episode 15 of the Don't Tell Me My Business Media Podcast. This show, we're going to talk a little bit about what we've had as nicknames throughout our life. First off, we're going to go through a couple of bit of corrections. We don't have very many. I think we nailed it last time, right, Chris? I mean,
we were pretty factually accurate.
Yeah, so there's not going to be a lot of that. We cover a couple of things that we've seen the past week. Burning Love. We also have the what was it that you covered? The
Project Runway finale.
Project Runway finale. We also go over something I found on SoundCloud that's kind of interesting, chip tunes, if you've ever heard of those. And I discuss with Chris, Keith and the Girl, as well as a little bit of Pete Holmes.
Good old Pete.
Good old Pete.
Hopefully he'll still return our phone calls.
We have our Smitzers spot as normal. And then we go into our much-awaited review of Captain Phillips, starring Tom Hanks. I think we both enjoyed that. Right?
Riveting performances.
Yeah, so stick around and see what we thought about that. And, of course, we do a little bit of trailer trash, where we cover a couple of movies coming out this weekend, including Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa, The Counselor, and then we do Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. Even though it's not coming out this weekend, it is going to be a big holiday release and one of the major trailers that we put out, that was put out this week. So I think we're both kind of excited about that, and have a couple of interesting thoughts about Hollywood, I believe.
Yeah, it was a very interesting discussion. At least felt like it for me.
Yeah. So stick around and listen to episode 15. Oh, yeah, and by the way, you're going to hear me talking about how short this is going to be. No,
you won't need to listen to it twice. I mean, you can.
I mean, I suggest it, but it's going to take a while.
Now coming to you live from the DTMMB Media Studio in Louisville, Kentucky, it's the official Don't Tell Me My Business Media Podcast with your hosts, Vince and Chris, and it starts now.
All right. I'm Vince George, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Chris Herndon.
Hello, everyone.
So we got maybe a short show for you this week. I don't know. We got some content, but it might not push the hour. I think somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour. So if you got that kind of time, this would be the sweet spot to listen to. If you're looking for a show over an hour, you might want to look somewhere else this week. Possibly last week's show.
Or you could just listen to this, podcast twice.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or maybe just, all the way through once and then maybe half of the podcast. Just pick your favorite half.
Right.
It could, equal out to a normally sized show.
A normally sized show. Well, I don't know. 2 45-minute shows might be a little long, but it's going to be entertaining either way. I always catch something on the second listen through. I don't always catch the first go around, every little nuance. I don't catch. So usually about the third time through, I feel like I've got the show down. I understand what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like a Christopher Nolan movie. You go back, you start to find some subtext and some clues.
Right. Everything we say has a meaning. Right. I mean, it leads to something else down the line in the show. It's kind of like maybe Vince Gilligan in Breaking Bad. If you see the color purple somewhere, it means down the line something else is going to be purple.
Right, but of course we won't be, showing you colors for that because it's a audio podcast.
So I wore my purple shirt for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you look very fetching in it, though.
Yeah, all right. So, I've got some little question for you about nicknames. Have you had any nicknames in your life? Now, of course, I know the answer. I've known you for a long time, but I figured the listeners might be interested in hearing some of the nicknames that are thrown around towards us.
Oh, I've had a few nicknames over the years. Amazing Larry. No, that's actually not one of my nicknames. But, I've heard a few. My grandfather used to always call me CW, or he called me Christian a lot, too, which is a family story there. I great aunt who apparently wrote a letter to me when I was born, a newborn baby, and kind of as a joke, just as a welcome to the world type of letter, announcement letter type of thing. And she wrote it to Christ Herndon rather than Chris Herndon. And so my mom always joked, I wonder what the mailman thought, that sort of thing. That my grandpa used to run with that and call me Christ or Christian or, things like that. So
the H in Jesus H. Christ is actually probably Herndon then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Or it could be related to one of my other nicknames, which, there's a sizable group of people in the Louisville area that call me Honcho.
Yeah, right.
I was in a band that was called the Mike Honcho Experience. Still is called the Mike Honcho Experience, but we don't get together that often anymore. But there's some YouTube videos, and that kind of caught on. So there are a couple there that I've gone by. Again, not necessarily that I go by them, but that's what people call me. So you kind of run with it. You probably have a few nicknames too, don't you?
Yeah, I do. But you left one out. You got a Fletch in there, don't you?
Yes. Actually, another group of people in the Louisville area referred to me as Fletch due to some friends who called me that. Used to be a trivia handle back in the day, playing the old Buzz Time trivia.
You were the inspiration for the movie, right?
Yeah, in part. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that and the books that were written.
Yeah, I've had a couple of them. A lot of them don't stick. One has kind of stuck the past couple of years, but I picked up a couple in the Navy. Some guys heard that I wanted to name my first son Destro after the G.I. Joe character, because I thought Destro to George had a nice ring to it. Of course, I had a daughter, and my wife also...
She's Destra.
Yeah, she's Destra. My wife didn't really want to go with that, surprisingly enough. But she did have a silver head, which, I thought would have been a good fit for her as well. Some people called me Deluxe. It's the D dash Lux. And I guess that's just because of just my general nature of being just so deluxe, almost like a deluxe hamburger. I really don't know where the deluxe
I don't know where they got that from.
But the D, I've got a D in the beginning of my last name. So
okay, all right.
Another one was Greasy Spoon. This was a small group I hung with. We called ourselves the T-Birds, kind of that old 50s things. Hats, maybe crooned some songs, and I was Greasy Spoon. We also had like Rusty Knife, and there was a couple other ones like Dirty Kitchen or something.
So was this like a was this like a doo-wop group or something?
It was a doo-wop group without the doo-wop.
So just a group.
Just a group.
Okay.
And one wop, which would be me.
No dues?
No.
Okay.
No.
Too bad.
Curious D. George is something that my daughter called me for quite a while. Of course, based upon her love for Curious George. And I had to point out that her last name is DeGeorge as well, which kind of took some of the funniness out of it when I started calling her that back. And, of course, most recently, the Deuce. Which is...
we've used that one around here quite a bit.
Which I believe has more than one meaning. I don't know. I'm not sure where that comes from, quite honestly.
It's not due to bathroom habits or anything?
Well, yeah, I guess that's probably the origin of that, I would imagine. Dropping a deuce. God.
I don't think that's where that came from.
Actually, I believe it came from another guy who was mistaken for a guy named Deuce. And it just kind of stuck with me. I don't know. The D names are, there's the Destro Deluxe and then Deuce. So, the DeGeorge just naturally falls in line with those. So that's the much less interesting story of our nicknames than I thought we were going to have.
Well, I mean, the thing about nicknames is they, the ones that stick are the ones that are given to you, and I mean,
right.
We're not the ones to tell the story of how we got a nickname.
True. I mean, I guess it goes back to the Seinfeld episode, right? With George and
when you want a nickname,
call me T-Bone.
Yeah, we'll call you Coco instead. But I mean, that's the kind of thing that the story probably better from the person who gave the nickname rather than the person who got the nickname.
Yeah,
you don't give yourself a nickname. Now, I do have a good friend who actually. Sorry, I'm wrestling with the dog over here.
That's okay. I understand. She's trying to dominate you.
Yeah, she's trying to dominate me because she knows I'm trying to put a show on here. No, but I have a very good friend who who has a knack for giving people nicknames that stick. And part of it is that he gives the nickname and then introduces you to everyone of his friends by your nickname, so they never know what your real name is.
Right.
Which I find to be very liberating. I like kind of having that pseudonym out there. People don't really know what my real name is. But the ironic thing is, and I guess it's ironic, but he doesn't have a nickname, and no one is. There's not really been a nickname that's stuck for him. But he's given, I don't know, 20 nicknames of people that I can think of right now that, I have to think about what the real name is, because
I mean, you could call him like the bequeather, but I guess that, it really doesn't sound all that cool.
Yeah, nicknamer.
Yeah, the nickname.
That hasn't really stuck.
Sounds like the weakest superhero ever, more than anything, I guess.
His power is he gives nicknames. Which, I mean, that could be a pretty, depending on the nickname, I mean, there could be some pretty scathing nicknames out there. He calls somebody stinky, they're going to,
right.
self-conscious about the way they smell from that.
Well, you know what? I guess I feel fortunate that I haven't really had a nickname that has been based upon, some deformity or
right.
some unnatural feature. A big guy is called Tiny,
Right.
Or, nobody's going to be calling me Stretch, that's for sure. But, Speedy is going to be that maybe the little fast guy, or possibly the Mexican.
Yeah, the Mexican mouse.
The Mexican
Gonzalez,
mouse, yes.
Or, Speedy if you're very slow.
Oh, true. Yeah,
You're always
that's
late.
right.
Call him Speedy.
You do have that kind of opposite nicknaming type thing that happens too.
This has been fascinating.
Well, for us, at least. Let's get to some corrections and omissions.
I've made a huge mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
I've made a huge mistake. I've made a huge mistake.
Now, I'm going to stop that here because our show last week was almost damn near perfect. So I'm not going to spend more time playing the introduction to corrections and omissions than our actual.
We were a little off our game. We didn't mess up nearly as much as we normally do.
Well, either that or we're just oblivious,
There were probably 1,000 things that we just,
Easily. Mine was, the character actor for 12 Years a Slave. His name is very difficult to say. I would think I was calling him Chichi Ejiofor, I believe, or something of that nature. Well, I looked it up on the internet, and it appears that there's two possible pronunciations for his name, and both are acceptable. It's Chuatul Ejiofor. I'm sure it's not as. I'm sure it's more fluid than that. Or Chuetel Ejiofor. Chuetel Ejiofor. I'm giving it a shot.
Yeah.
Now, whatever happened to going to Hollywood and changing your name to something that people could,
like Gregory Peck.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, easy to say.
Right.
Easy to spell.
I would even say, maybe like a rapper name, like Eazy-E, I think that would fit in something like his Easy C, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, this is somebody who definitely should consider, something that maybe rolls off the tongue a little bit better. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's got a nickname. Maybe he should just go by his nickname.
A nickname would be good. Chi-Chi, I think, would probably work out pretty well. I called him out last week. I think I think that would stick.
I like Chi-Chi. Well, for my part, I just have to throw this in there because I'd had no other reason to talk about Ed Harris or Gene Kranz this week. So I should correct that maybe some listeners may have misheard something I said about Ed Harris and Gene Kranz. I referred to Ed Harris as playing the flight director in Mission Control in the Apollo 13 movie. Mm-hmm. Apparently Michigan Troll is what people heard. Michigan Troll instead of Mission Control. So just to correct anybody misheard that, Ed Harris is not a Michigan Troll. Nor, as far as I know, he's not from Michigan. Maybe that could be for next week. That gives me a reason to add Ed Harris for next week.
We don't have to check if he's a troll or not. I'm pretty sure he's not a troll.
He's not a troll, but he may be from Michigan. But he's not a Michigan troll. He played the flight director in Mission Control.
Yeah, see, I can see where people are possibly mistaken.
Well, because now I'm conscious of it and I'm saying it wrong.
Right.
But no, it's not Michigan Troll. It's Mission Control. So Ed Harris, Gene Kranz, our apologies.
A record-breaking 11th mention for in like 15 shows.
Yeah, so catch up with our Ed Harris update next week.
When we find out whether he's from Michigan or not.
And, I will go ahead and check to make sure he's not a troll, just to be sure.
Just to be sure.
But I don't think so.
All right. On to the look. All right, everyone, it's time